The January 6th committee has released more than 30 new witness transcripts from its investigation into the attack on the U.S. Capitol. As Nikole Killion reports, one witness in particular appears to have been the target of a pressure campaign by attorneys tied to the former president.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
She was considered one of the star witnesses in the January 6th Select Committee investigation.
It was un-American. We were watching the Capitol building get defaced over a lie.
According to new transcripts released by the panel, former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson described being pressured before her testimony. In a September deposition, she said an aide to her then-boss, Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, called and said, "Well, Mark wants me to let you know that he knows you're loyal, and he knows you'll do the right thing tomorrow, and that you're going to protect him and the boss." Select Committee member Elaine Luria.
We need to know from Mark Meadows, did you give that direction? And that's why we made sure to highlight it for the Department of Justice.
Hutchinson also told the panel she struggled to find a lawyer and was directed to a Trump-related attorney named Stefan Pasentino, who outlined his strategy. The less you remember, the better. And later he told her, "We just want to focus on protecting the president." And before she publicly testified about this altercation between the former president and his security detail in his limousine,
the president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president. Take me up to the Capitol now."
She said Pasentino discouraged her and suggested she say she didn't recall.
But for a lawyer to tell a client to say something that the client knows is false, it's not just unusual, it's criminal.
Pasentino said he represented Hutchinson honorably and ethically, but he also announced that he's taking a leave of absence from his firm because the situation with the committee had become, quote, a distraction. John?
Nikole Killion, thank you. CBS News chief election and campaign correspondent Robert Costa joins me now. Bob, Cassidy Hutchinson also in that, as Nikole mentioned, the key witness of these hearings, also in those transcripts, she mentioned something she called the pass the mirror test. What was that?
John, great to be with you. I think about that Faulkner line, the past is never past, it's not even past, because this episode has echoes of Watergate. In fact, Cassidy Hutchinson detailed how she Googled the Watergate scandal when she was contemplating how to handle the engagement with the January 6th committee, and she found a name during the course of this research, Alexander Butterfield, famous for going before the Watergate committee, talking about the taping system inside the Nixon White House. She ordered a book by Bob Woodward about Alexander Butterfield's experience in the Nixon White House called The Last of the President's Men, a continuation of Woodward and Bernstein's All the President's Men theme in terms of covering the Nixon years. But you see in Cassidy Hutchinson someone who had to make, in her view, as described in her testimony, a moral decision. Could she pass the mirror every day and look at herself if she didn't testify? She ultimately decided to sit down with the committee.
When this report comes out, or maybe you've already had a chance to look at the transcripts, Bob, you've spent so much time in working with Woodward on peril and in your own reporting. You've spent so much time thinking about January 6th. Are there things you're looking for in those 800 pages and in those transcripts that you'll go right to once you get them?
The thing, if people out there are actually going to take the time to read the transcripts, here's what I would advise. Look at the questions, not the answers. So often the answers are one word, fifth. What does that mean? It means they're invoking the Fifth Amendment, their right against self-incrimination, choosing not to participate. But what's so intriguing when you read through and page through these transcripts, the questions being asked tell you a lot about what other witnesses sitting before this committee might have provided to the committee, how the committee is thinking chronologically through the events of January 6th before and after, the documentation they've acquired. So the transcripts are a glimpse into the evidence the committee has compiled, which is a lot, even if it's not always a glimpse into the mindset of the witnesses sitting before the lawmakers.
It's such a great point, Bob. And also, the Justice Department, following up essentially on those leads, might be able to do more to develop what the committee could only ask questions about and make that a part of their investigation. As a final question, Bob, you reported months ago that Ginny Thomas, the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, sent numerous texts to White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows advocating or that the election had been stolen and to do what could be done to overthrow the outcome or the result. She finally talked to the committee in some form. We didn't hear much about that in the open hearings. What's your sense of what we're going to hear from this report? Will there be a transcript? What do you know about that?
I've been doing some reporting on this, John, in recent days, trying to figure out how the committee is going to handle this issue. And it's a sensitive issue inside the committee. There are real debates, discussions among the members about how to handle Ginny Thomas's appearance before the committee. It was not a formal deposition per se. She was engaging with the committee, sitting for an interview, a conversation. But for her to sit down, her attorney had a discussion with the committee about the terms, and some of the terms that the committee did agree to, based on our reporting, is that it would not be filmed and there would not be audio, in the sense that there would not be anything collected by the committee that could be used in a hearing. Ginny Thomas and her counsel, based on our reporting, did not want to have her blasted to millions of people on television, though I am told there was a transcript taken in the sense of a court reporter type transcribing the discussion among the lawmakers on the committee and Ginny Thomas. And this is going to be a decision for the committee. Will they release that to the public? As a reporter, I'm a big believer in releasing everything possible. That's not a political position. I would say that about any committee on Capitol Hill. The more we can see and digest, the better. And what's also a real question mark here is, will they feel pressure to do so? Congress is not like other parts of the federal government where you can have a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information Act request. So if the committee decides to keep this Ginny transcript on the shelf, we might not see it for months, if not years. So it will really be a test of whether they can come to a consensus just to put it out there.
Great reporting, Bob. Thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.